Yeah, that's great. I mean, we're kind of morning people more than afternoons, right? We usually nap around 1 o'clock.
Yeah, we run out of gas pretty. Talking all kind of pop culture, entertainment, celebrity interviews. Wake Up New Orleans on Saturdays with everything else. Do again, 9 a.m. WGSO.
Hi, this is Martina McBride. When I'm on stage performing, it takes a team of talented people from all walks of life to make the show a success. I couldn't do it without everyone's help.
On the radio.
When we embrace diverse backgrounds
I have
and work
it on
together as
mute
one, there's no
until
challenge
they're
or
ready.
problem too big to overcome. Our strength lies in our diversity.
Upset the setup.
This public service message has been brought to you courtesy of the United States Air Force.
I can't believe it.
I'm live.
I think,
All right, welcome back to the second segment of Put Your Passion Live. We're going to jump right into the show. We have a
Here we
mayoral
go.
candidate, Byron Cole, on the line. How you doing, brother? I hear you on the line there.
I'm doing well. How are you, sir? Thank you for having me.
Oh, great! It's great. It's a pleasure to have you, and I'm excited to have another candidate and someone that is willing to run against Satan's wife. That's her nickname. I don't know if you ever heard my show. I call her Satan's wife.
Yeah, I've never heard that before.
Yeah, she's gotten a lot of nicknames from me on the show. But tell us a little bit about what you're doing and why you're running and what made you decide to run.
Okay, so my name is Byron Cole. I'm from the 7th Ward of New Orleans. My mother created the foundation for what I'm currently running on. But I have my own experience. I just wanted to relay my background. My mother was Diane French Cole. They called her Mama D from the 7th Ward. And she was just named 300 most influential New Orleanians in the last celebration that the city had at its birthday. They named my mother that with Jean Lafitte and all those other New Orleanians. And so I myself have always had a civic background, an activist background, but I've been working post-conviction. And for those that don't know, the FBI admits that up to 35% of all people convicted in the United States and in prison may in fact be innocent. And so my work deals with helping the wrongly convicted to, to give their time back to the state and get home, get free. And so doing that, plus running a grassroots organization called Fathers Advocacy, which we do a lot of mentorship. And we also have a 501c3, the Dr. K Movement Incorporated, LLC. And it's basically has a mission statement of just, dealing with all of the issues that people face when they're not in the 1%, that the cracks that people slip through, right?
Right.
And so I combined all my heuristics base with all my experience, plus, my work has a lot of people in the city that I hate to say follow me, but they, stay abreast of what movements I have going, and they all asked me to run. And so I decided that enough was enough, and that we had problems in New Orleans that aren't traditional problems, which means that they came with this new era of leadership. And I figured we needed to get back to what's naturally New Orleans.
Exactly. And so let me ask you a question, Byron. What would you change? Would be one of the first things. I'm not from New Orleans, but let's say I was a voter here in New Orleans and I was voting.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man.
And you to vote for me.
We see in a lot of instances, I'll point out two specifically, with the garbage and with the with Sewage and Water Board, that our associations and our privatization is really crippling our city. And so my mother, as I mentioned before, Miss Diane French Cole, she was the director of environmental beautification, which is a fancy name for sanitation back in the day. And we didn't have these type of problems ever in New Orleans, and we were able to function through all of our storms and everything without ever having trash issues. And one of the reasons why is because we owned the trucks and we perpetuated the workforce as a job stimulus for our people, which, by the way, we have a tremendous unemployment issue in the city because we only have one industry, which is tourism. And so in that day that I describe under Ernest Morial, the city really offered a lot of different stimulus options in terms of employment to its citizens. And I think that if we're going to be held hostage by contractors, then that's something we need to consider at this point.
Exactly. All right, let me ask you another question. I know this is very important. This is important to business owners. This is important to people. This is important to tourism about the vaccine mandate. Where do you stand on the vaccine mandate? Would you continue it, or would you...
My first answer is this. I'm a spiritual being, and I don't think that anyone has the right to dictate what another person does with their body that doesn't directly harm anyone else.
Exactly.
And so, do I need to expound on that answer?
No.
I can, but I just figure I think that covers it.
I mean, hey, let's please, if you want to. I mean, that's what I would love to have.
So I see a lot of inconsistency involved here, right? So my kid is having trouble being on the track team, but you can walk into Walmart, Lowe's, any Fortune 500 company, and they don't care if you're vaccinated or not. And it's not that they don't care, it's that the city hasn't placed any mandates there. So we understood that Walmart mandate wasn't made because people need soap and people need food. And so they've stretched that to Lowe's and every other major market that has a major chain, and none of them have that scrutiny. We see that killing the local mom and pop shop here in New Orleans. And that's a real issue because our economy thrives on that. In New Orleans proper, you can maybe find one Taco Bell. You can maybe find one Kentucky Fried Chicken. And that's because we like to pull over at our little shops and, and live our lifestyle. And so all of that's being disrupted. I do find another inconsistency, and they lift the mask rule today. The mask, I think, would be the necessary concession for all to be careful so we can be more personable in our interactions. But that's been lifted. And so I would never force anyone to do anything with their body that they're not comfortable with. But if you do want a vaccination, I applaud that.
Well, it's here's what I state on this, and this is just me speaking, and I don't know if you ever heard my show. It should be a choice. On the abortion side, they say my body, my choice, but when it comes to vaccination status, that doesn't apply. We can't do my body, my choice.
Well, let's be honest here.
My body, my choice here.
I'm glad you said that. Let's be honest here. I think that requires some introspection on our leadership, because the day that Biden made his announcement, I don't know the proper legal terminology, but California and New York immediately excluded themselves. And so when we see the leaders in terms of commerce in our nation making an example, and our city, by the way, taking the lead on this domination of its citizens, we have to look at that. And that has to be discussed. We have to make some assessments from that.
Yes. Well, we don't need big government control, and I'm all about people's choice and letting the people control. I mean, and I'm actually going to be a candidate in 2023 for Jefferson Parish President. I'm running, and this is another reason why I'm kind of taking a few months off the radio, and I got to focus on moving forward and getting my campaign started for 2023.
I'm glad you told me that, because I'm going to pay attention to that race now. I'm not happy with how it's being ran currently.
Yeah, nobody is, and Cynthia is a very big disappointment to the people of Jefferson Parish. Her dad was wonderful. Yeah, I believe her dad's turning in his grave currently right now.
So
of how she's acting.
I won't speak. Look, you are a radio host and you're doing what you're supposed to do. But I won't speak in that manner, but I will say that her dad and my mother were good friends in terms of respect for the field of what they did for a living.
Right.
They had a healthy respect for each other. And there is a stark contrast in how she moves from how her daddy moved. He was straightforward.
Right. Exactly. Well, you know, and your mother was probably like me, and you know, I was talking about this I was in Houston this past weekend. We no longer can be. We could be on two different sides of the aisle, but yet we can't agree to disagree no more. And it happens on both sides of the aisle. And I told this guy he was on the left, and I'm a constitutional conservative, and I'm on the right. But you know, I told him, I said, it happens on my side. I see it all the time. Where the conservatives, it's my way or the highway, just like it happens on the left. It happens with both. People can't just come together and say, you know what, I agree with you, but I disagree with you. I disagree with you, but I agree with you.
So we have a format for that. So this awkward lifestyle that we're forced to live, this dual consciousness that we're forced to live, that W.E.B. Du Bois spoke about for black people in America, you know, we're shuffled so much that what people need to understand is that that's not just arbitrary. We've tracked down how that manifests, right? So,
Right.
you know, first and foremost, people can't just take up soapboxes and get elected on popularity and we expect to have a functional society. So we look at people all the time that run in elections who are constantly addressing issues, constantly what we call in my community on the battlefield for the masses, right? And we see those people come to elections, and then we deny them opportunity because they don't have the funding or backing of the status quo or the sign power. And what they don't understand is he with the most signs wins because that's the will of the status quo. And so if we look at the direct causes of this my way or the highway and how people are able to be afforded those stances, then we can really start to see what the true issue is.
Okay. Hey, we have to. Can you hold on to the next segment? I want to keep you on. We got to go to break real quick. Can you hold tight real quick?
I would love to, man.
Okay. All right. We're gonna go to break, guys. We're gonna have Byron Cole back in just a few minutes. Grab yourself a cup of coffee. Come back in just a minute. We'll also take your phone calls at 504-556-9696. See you in just a second.
I muted it. I hope some people call.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Over the last 75 years, New Orleans has gone through many changes, and so has WGSO.
I mean, man, you know, there was times in my life when I thought I was ready to do this and I wasn't. Because everywhere you saw me talking, I would have a notebook with stuff scrambled all on it, right? I've done that so many times now that this is like me talking about when my child was born. You feel me? Or what her favorite foods are. Or what size she wears.
It's now our 75th anniversary.
I might have a brain freeze for a second, but it's not when I'm being proud do I ever have a brain freeze. You seen me. This is when I'm laid back, I might have a senior moment for a second. But I always know what the real issues are about what I'm discussing. And conservatives love me. Did you see the last campaign? The man that was the former senator from North Carolina
David Jeremiah. Join me each
came and made a live tag in it. We got thousands of viewers. Go find that shit, man. For me on my Facebook.
Brian Diaz with the Noah Drink Show. Join me as we explore the world of drinking food in New Orleans and beyond.
4 years from now,
7 to 8 p.m. right here.
I woke up to this post. Man, say at the beginning of the post, I'm a conservative. I'm sure Byron didn't vote for Trump as I did. I'm sure he probably did not.
Join us
But
at 5 p.m. Mondays. for
this
the
man
WGSO
is
99.
brilliant. He's on point. This is the man saying. Do you know that the statues we trying to take down right now, do you know that their family members that are still alive around here have invited me to Christmas dinner, to Easter dinner, called me, knew all about me,
take a
just
moment
tripped my
to
head
make
on the
your day
phone,
last.
invited me and my
Dad,
daughter to their
jokes.
house, most recently for Christmas dinner. Beauregard's granddaughter.
By the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Louisiana Radio Network News. I'm Dave
No, I didn't
There are
take that
people in the Lake
invitation, buddy.
Charles area once again cleaning up after a
Yeah, I
weather
guess you said I
event.
want
National
that
Weather
shit,
Service
huh?
meteorologist
You are who you
Jonathan
rock
Purcell
with.
says
I can't get people to understand
weather
that.
produced a tornado in
Man, people is
southwest
telling me, I'm voting for Byron, but why ain't nobody saying nothing about Newman?
South Lake Charles, where
And either way they choose, I wouldn't be mad. But choose. You can't vote for two people.
got pretty close
You know what I'm
to
saying?
our
So what you
office
saying
here.
ain't benefiting me?
Pretty solid tornado. Governor John Bell Edwards visited the damage this morning. Edwards says he's relieved no one was killed, but this area
This secret
endured
ballot
major
shit.
hurricanes last year, a winter storm in February,
Coward
and a flash
mantra.
flood in May.
All
I mean,
day.
seriously,
I can say what I rock with and why I rock with it. I'm solid out here.
And they're very generous and hardworking, faithful people. But that's enough to test anybody. Edwards is now on his way to Scotland as he's leading a Louisiana delegation that's attending the United Nations Climate Change Conference. LRN.
From simple structures to highly complex headquarters, Mueller Custom Buildings are engineered and made to help your business grow. Hear how Mueller helped Brian with a custom steel building for his company.
Eric Gibson Automotive, we're a collision repair.
I wonder how much them steel buildings cost.
No, I was saying that was nice because I forgot what seminar I was at and I seen a page like this that was given to me.
So why wouldn't I use Mueller? This
He in
project
class.
turned out better than I ever imagined. There wasn't a nut and bolt that didn't fit anywhere it was supposed to. Going with Mueller was one of the best decisions I made in the whole construction.
Visit our website today at MuellerINC.com to find a location near you and view our wide range of building types, from workshops to commercial projects. Mueller Inc. Metal roofs, metal buildings, made in America and made to last.
Hi, my name is Clay Taylor.
Oh, what time is
Jeff
it?
Career, and I'm Renee Manfrey. We're the founders of What's Your Passion Media.
1:31?
WYP is a
I'm gonna have
one-of-a-kind
to cut
digital
this short.
marketing
I
and
got an appointment
podcasting
at 2.
company serving the greater New Orleans area. We will be your one-stop shop where you'll be able to share your passion with a wide audience
Yeah, I guess I
through
could
our
drive
What's
and
Your
do it.
Passion network. For a free tour and consultation,
I ain't in that mood today.
434-9364.
I'm not about to do
Or
that.
go to
I'm in a different mood today. I got up early this morning and did all that.
Peek into Brennan's, the Grand Dame restaurant on historic Royal Street in the French Quarter to
Oh,
find
where I gotta
the
go is only like 10 minutes
quintessential
away.
and
Tell me
elegant
when
Southern
it's
bar overlooking a lush courtyard that welcomes all to partake in the merriment of New
40.
Orleans. The amusing
240 or
aviary-inspired bar
140.
is home
What
not
time
only
is
to
it
the
now?
most progressive wine and food experience in New Orleans,
145.
but also
That's what I
an
need to
innovative
know.
cocktail
Just
program
wave.
of traditional
I'm gonna tell 'em I
classics
gotta ride.
with distinctly relevant twists by the hand of lead bartender Lou Brow. Pop in and celebrate at Brennan's.
Lord, this
First
26
bar at
minutes
any
of
hour of the
commercial.
day. Your Caribbean
That
milk punch
radio.
awaits.
My name is Eric Shine. My program is Maritime Matters. Listen in on WGSO 990 AM Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Central. Graduate of Federal Military Service Academy, veteran naval
And then it's
officer,
AM
pictures
too.
to tell and warnings to give. Talking about history, all things maritime, and much more. Program centers on our water's edge, maritime borders, and international rights of way as integral parts of our important civil defense and national security systems and the maritime dangers we are now facing.
Hi, this is Clay with Liberty or Lockdown. I'm moving to a new show in the new hour. Join me for What's Your Passion Live. We talk about promoting your passion or your business. What's Your Passion is a live show that promotes businesses and podcasts
Town
around
meeting,
the city.
Magnolia,
Join me every Thursday
and Martin
from
Luther
1
King.
to 2 p.m. Or you
Starts
can go
at
to
6 o'clock. I won't be there. Oh yeah, I will be there. But
to get your business or
I was about to say I
podcast
won't be there on time, but I will be there on time. Here we go.
All right, guys, welcome back to What's Your Passion Live. I am Clay. We're rolling into the second half of the show. We have Byron Cole. He's a candidate for mayor of New Orleans, running against Satan's wife. I know he gets a kick out of that. We all get a kick out of that one. Brother, how you doing?
Tell him I'm doing fine.
So, all right, so back to what we were talking about, how people can find you. Because so far, just this little bit of talking, I would definitely, if I was a resident of New Orleans, I would vote for you. It's at the end of the day, how people can find you.
The
That's
easiest,
key thing.
The easiest way I would say at this point is to email me. I'll come out and speak about anything. My phone number is 504-617-3080. And our campaign email is COLE4 MAYOR at gmail.com.
So coleformayor@gmail.com, and we'll put that on the website also.
Yes, and if anybody would like to donate, our campaign donations can be received on Cash App at $COLE4 MAYOR.
So $COLE. Say that one more time.
$COLE4 MAYOR.
Okay, so that, let me tell them produces a $sign in front of Cole.
Yes, that's a
so,
Cash App.
Right, because he's putting it on our website.
That's a Cash App tag. Yes.
Okay, great. So they can donate there.
Yes.
All right, brother. What number are you on though?
I'm number 22 on your ballot.
Number 22 on my ballot.
Yes.
So,
and early voting starts on the 30th to the 6th.
30th. So today's election day, brother, and you have these day before election day, and you have these last-minute voters out there. What would you tell them to make them vote for you?
I would tell them that, as I said before, we have some serious issues that are not inherent. We had our own set of problems before, right? But the storm really exposed the weaknesses in our structure at that time, and instead of addressing it then, we just tried to patch it up, and we started electing people like, okay, so for instance, Arnie Philco, first man ever to come and be the president of the city council in New Orleans that wasn't from Louisiana. That was unheard of. And then after him, Stacey Head, not from New Orleans. And, now we see a mayor that's not from Louisiana whatsoever, and we see all kinds of dysfunction that is not inherent. So it's because we have not had people who are adept, piloting the ship. That's the issue.
Right.
And so I also want to say this. I am not the most suitable person in the city to be the mayor of New Orleans. I am not. And I wish that one of them would have risen, because we can't take another 4 years. That's why I stood up. But I am the most adept in this race, and I have a tremendous background of work, a body of work that's selfless and second first. And I'm known in every section of court, civil, criminal, municipal, and all of the attorneys know me. And it's from fighting the good fight. Like, not from going to work and getting known from being at work while getting a paycheck. It's from seeing things that I know are not constitutional and saying, wait a minute, if the ACLU's not going to say anything, I have to.
You sound like me, brother. I think, you're me and Jefferson Parish. That's what I said for Jefferson Parish, but you're me in Orleans.
Yeah, I just want one set of rules. I've studied them. I suggest others do so to show themselves approved, but I need to follow the rules that we were taught in civics class, because that's where I'm at.
I completely agree with you. I do want to say something, throw a point that you said that she's not from the city of New Orleans. A lot of people don't realize she is an Aspen Institute product. And she's put in the city to destroy the city so other big businesses can come and kill all the mom and pops, so the big businesses can come in and take over.
Can I tell you something?
A Disney World. I'm sorry?
Let me tell you something. So I never speak on anything that I can't speak intelligently regarding, right? But I will tell you that two people that I trust tried to come up and tell me something about this Aspen thing you're talking about. And I just told them to catch me after the election. But so I'm ignorant to the background of that. Maybe in another show you could highlight that so I could hear what's going on with that. But what I do know is that you don't have to find a conspiracy to understand that all of our systems are operating subpar. And this is the first time in my 50-year-old lifetime that I've ever witnessed that in New Orleans. And we've had some mayors that we weren't very fond of. Okay?
Right.
And it still has not gotten here. And what we can see a clear trail of is a prioritization for outsiders, whether it be with policing, whether it be with policy. And we need to stop that and go back to what's naturally New Orleans for all indigenous New Orleanians to be able to thrive and pursue our happiness where we're from.
Exactly. Exactly. And, you know, I hear this a lot from people that's outside from Jefferson Parish because of what's going on. And people don't want to come into the city that we would support this city. But when you have someone like Latoya and other mayors that people, they don't want to come in, and they just, and I tell them the problem is you're not hurting the mayor, you're hurting the small businesses.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's the end of the day is they're harming just even local tourism, you know, from Jefferson Parish, Tangipahoa, St. Charles, you know, just the parishes just right around.
I'm an investigator by trade, and I never speak on anything without empirical data. So every city council meeting we have, it's public record. They record them, right? And we have continuous footage of our mayor not being prepared for the topics when she was a city councilwoman, about her speaking ignorantly, and I'm not speaking facetiously, speaking ignorantly about topics, and she's had all week to read the briefing, and myself and my colleagues have just picked up the briefing that they provide at the meetings, and we have like 20-30 minutes to skim it. And so the professionalism is not there, and it doesn't even really look like the drive is there. There's been a lot lately of just, you know, a lot of what I don't consider to be mayoral behavior in terms of how she's associating with the general public.
Tell me if you see this, and one of the things that I dislike about her is how she talks to people. She don't talk to people, she talks down to them, like I'm the queen. Because I have a friend that used to talk with her, I'm not going to mention the name, but she, you know, Latoya told her that you ought to be privileged to allow that I allow you to talk to me.
So listen, you asked me, and I can tell you exactly what that is. I've examined it. So she's far more polished now as the mayor than she was just as a sitting city councilwoman. And so what she's been afforded is the budget to have that secret cabinet, right? And so now all of her public statements where she's unchallenged sound remarkable. And when she's challenged, she reverts back to her natural self. And so that's why you get the Compton neck roll response, because there's really nothing else there.
Exactly.
There's really nothing else there.
So here's a question one more time, just for the listeners that are just joining. How can they find you?
Byron Stephen Cole, Byron S. Cole on Instagram, Byron S. Cole on Facebook, COLE4 MAYOR @gmail.com.
Okay.
504-617-3080. And we have a town meeting tonight on Magnolia and Martin Luther King, starting promptly at 6 p.m.
Okay, great. And what number are you on the ballot?
I'm number 22 on the ballot, and I would like for New Orleans to help elect me to become mayor so that New Orleans and its consensus can run New Orleans.
Okay, exactly. So, in closing statement here, brother, give your final pitch to the people at the radio, and I do want to get with you more. We're going to be in contact very shortly after we hang up from here.
Most definitely.
I want to reach out to you and do some other things with you. So,
My final words would just be this. You know, no clout chasing here. I'm not asking anyone to follow me. I'm speaking sensibly and asking people to allow their conscience to be their guide and to follow that. And I'm also asking people to understand that the stakes are tremendously high. And if we look at how the city has changed in the last 6 years, I don't think that the traditional New Orleans can stand or withstand another 4. And that's a real issue. Cole for mayor, number 22 on your ballot.
So, guys, that is Byron Cole. I want to thank you for your time. We have to go to break. And thanks for joining us, brother. And, guys, grab yourself a cup of coffee. We're going to take callers next and talk about
checks and balances.
What's Your Passion Live. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
Thank you. I'd like to thank all my followers for hanging with me. I appreciate you. I have an appointment, and if I'm late, they're going to be mad at me. So I got to go.